Record on this computer. All right, here we go. All right.
Yeah.
Welcome, TV Rao.
Hi.
We are here to share a little bit of the importance of organization development, especially for
Hi.
those in Indonesia who are getting introduced to the concept and are interested in why it's important for organizations today. So I'm here with TV Rao. TV Rao, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm TV Rao from India. I have been working with the Indian Institute of Management at Ahmedabad. Now I have my own consulting firm, TVRLS, and I'm one of those who started almost about 45 years ago HRD movement in the country and worked with all stalwarts in OD in this field since 1965. That's when OD began in this country.
Wonderful. So the first question we have for you is, from your perspective, why is organization development important today?
This because the whole world is a changed place today. In the last 30 years with technological developments, the world today is highly technology driven. Change is taking fast. Millennials are in large numbers, and the developing world largely has millennials, that is those who are of age group around 30. So change is imperative. It's a global village, highly competitive. Markets are open to any country. And if organizations are cost conscious, quality driven, predictable, systems driven, and have talented people, then they can be at the marketplace and be the best in the world. So therefore, every organization needs to look at itself and see whether they can become competitive and have a larger share of the world's markets.
Excellent, excellent. And given your experience and your exposure to OD, especially in Asia, can you give us an example of when OD has transformed an HRD function in Asia? So like what was the situation, what was the impact, and how was it effective?
Well, OD started in India almost in mid-50s with an experiment conducted with a coal mining industry where people were working largely as individuals. So a series of team building workshops changed the entire culture of the company and made it a lot more productive and profitable. After that, in mid-70s, an engineering company started the Human Resource Development Department, which Uday Parikh and I were instrumental in setting it up. And we made OD a part of HRD. And that company is now into making a large number of industry goods into power sector, into infrastructure, and so on. Every 3 months, they meet, the top management team meets, become process sensitive, examine whatever is happening in the company, and try to be competitive and try to exploit the talent. So that is a very interesting success story. In the steel industry, with the help of OD people, there was a complete turnaround in the Steel Authority of India in 80s. And in 90s, with the invent of the information technology and so on, most of the new economy organizations are becoming highly process sensitive, quality driven, and are bringing change in the whole systems using talent as the focus. And that is where HRD and OD get married, and they are doing a lot of good to companies. So it is enhancing talent utilization and enhancing a self-renewal mechanisms in organizations and keeping them constantly alive to changing world and changing realities. And that is why it becomes very, very important for all new economy countries.
So it's really shown the impact for someone new to OD and trying to get their head around what are you doing, what would be some of the activities or interventions that you would use to create some of this change?
Well, we are doing a lot of things. First, we start with diagnosing whatever I think are the kind of issues that our organization faces. And as ODI believes in a participative diagnosis, the participative diagnosis itself initiates a lot of change. We normally bring the whole system, like what Roland keeps talking about. Marvin Weisbord for quite some time promoted. I think quite a number of the people from the West were very involved in initiating OD activities here. So we do a number of these interventions, and my colleague Uday Parikh invented role-based interventions, which we keep doing that. In fact, we tried all of it in Indonesia with the Ministry of Health about 30 years ago. With Rolf Linton was there in Indonesia, Uday Parikh was there, I was there, and then a number of people were there. We did task analysis for health professionals at their post-class level, also at the district level, provincial level, and so on. So the interventions are largely system-based, role-based, and whole system change-based.
Excellent.
I think there are a number of them. I think they should come to AODN to discover more and more of these.
Yes, exactly. The participants will have a firsthand experience of going through a process to learn it themselves.
Yes.
The last question.
I hope a number of.
The last question is.
Go ahead. I hope.
Go ahead.
I'm only hoping a large number of CEOs and other people from Indonesia will make use of this wonderful opportunity they have to get the world view of OD and get the benefit from it.
Me too. The last question I have is, how can OD elevate Indonesia's impact in the world?
Well, I think it is mainly by making organizations a lot more known across the world. If they have to be known, they have to build their brand. If they have to build the brand, it is always a two-way process. They need to be talking to the rest of the world what wonderful things they are doing inside. Indonesia has a very great culture, wonderful culture they have. They are highly affectionate and warm people. And they must utilize these and get the rest of the world to know the kind of values they have. The teamwork is something which is phenomenally great in Indonesia. So if they can combine with whole system change, they can do a lot, and they can be a great example for the rest of the world in terms of their own organizational agility, dynamism, and competitiveness. They can create many of the next practices, what we talk of, not the best practices, but better practices than the best.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. And for those who are listening, we hope this has been informative, and we hope to see you at the AODN conference in Jakarta coming up in November. Thank you. Thank you, TV.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, and all the best. Yes, hope to see you all at the conference.